But they said it was that piece. The fact that you did that extra thing to make sure that it was going to be over the top. We want
the work ethic.
The work ethic.
So right? It was the work ethic, it was your preparation, is the fact that you didn't do things halfway, you didn't phone it in, you even went, again, red eye flight, cover to cover, you left nothing to chance.
Yeah.
This is probably not the conversation you expected to have with me either.
No, but it's awesome. I'm just happy that we had a chance to chat. It's funny just running in the same circles for so long.
Yeah.
Right.
What's it like working at Adobe? Adobe's like one of my favorite companies. I look at it as one of the leaders in like culture and creativity. So like, what's it like?
So I'll try and give you the bullet point summary and not let it drag on.
Sure.
But the bullet points. I was a musician, and that's what I went to college for.
Nice.
I dropped out of college because I was working and making some good money as a musician, and thought I would, pick up with like Bruce Springsteen or something like that.
Yeah.
I got in a car accident. I messed up my hands.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So when we talk about
you don't account for life. Yeah.
Yes, you don't account for life. You don't have a backup plan. Okay. I was fortunate. I had the aptitude to do computer stuff. We were just doing computers in the studio, right?
So this is like in what, 1992?
No, this is in the 80s, man. Because I'm old.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said computers, and that made me think.
Late 80s, early 90s.
So in the early Apple Lisa days, which was the beginning for creative, having technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Logitech Pro and some of those early things.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, the next step will be, maybe working as a recording engineer or something like that.
Yeah.
Fast forward several years, I ended up getting into IT.
Nice.
Okay?
Oh, and make sure you're speaking up.
Oh yeah. So I ended up getting into IT. So I built computers, I've built networks, did all these different things, and after many years, decided that I just didn't like it. I discovered in my 30s that I liked teaching. I discovered in my 30s that, hey, I was pretty good at teaching Adobe stuff.
Yeah.
And I've started a consulting company here in Dallas doing exactly that.
So local,
I had big enterprise customers, and I went
all local.
Yeah, JCPenney, American Airlines. I went on site with those companies who were using Adobe software and said,
yes.
"Oh, you're doing that wrong, right? Yeah, you got Photoshop. Yeah, you got InDesign, but you should use them in these ways."
Workflow.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
The things that I'm teaching now. Yeah.
Yeah, best practices, all kind of stuff. My road to Adobe was actually 6 years.
Wow.
Right, 6 years of several different interviews, several different jobs. The timing was never right. Often they asked me to move. I didn't want to move out of Texas. And then, 6 years later, with a YouTube channel and lots of videos and lots of views and speaking at conferences that they were asked me to speak at as a contractor, I finally got an opportunity to actually get the job that I currently have.
So you hustled 6 years for the dream job.
Yeah, and it's funny because I thought that it was like the job thing, right? I was pursuing it, but at the same time I wasn't, pining over it.
Yeah.
Right? So
I think that's an interesting dichotomy, pursuing something while not romanticizing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Because I was still out there hustling my business, doing my thing, it's funny, when I was presented with the opportunity that I have now, it came via Facebook, right? And it was, I think, almost a year after a previous interview. And it came via Facebook. It was on a Friday, and I remember talking to my wife, Michelle. I was like, should I respond to this? Because by then I was just like, I don't think, it's been 6 years, all these different opportunities, it just never worked out. Do I really want to bother? And I remember Michelle telling me, say, you have to respond to it. Because the worst thing that can happen is they offer and you say no, right? If you don't do anything with it, then you'll just be pissed off. I know you'll be pissed off. So I responded like Sunday, gave it a couple of days, responded via Facebook on a Sunday, had an interview on a Monday over a phone. The very next week they flew me out, and then I got hired on the spot, right? It was the first time in all of the interviews I'd done over 6 years where I did a face-to-face and actually did a demo live. None of the other interviews I ever got to the demo portion, right? And the interesting thing about that is when they flew me out there, I didn't find this out until after I was employed, I wasn't the top guy.
Wow.
It was a courtesy, right? We've seen you so many times, let's just.
Wow.
Right? And so it was my demo. My demo that day, right? You have the perfect game, the perfect pass, the perfect run, everything lined up. And I did everything right in the demo, but the key thing that my manager at the time told me, Adobe has a specific demo style, sales kind of techniques, engineering techniques, consulting techniques that they had talked about a little bit during the interviews. And they're not hidden, right? It's something called Demo to Win.
Yeah.
And I went out.
Demo to Win, I like that.
Yeah. So I got the book off of Amazon, loaded it on my phone. I had a red-eye flight. I read the book on the plane.
Cover to cover.
Cover to cover, retooled my demo for that morning, right? And that was the thing that was the game changer, because the demo was awesome and best out of all they'd seen.
You left nothing to chance. Yeah. You went over the top, and the thing is, you didn't even do it with the arrogance to think that this is gonna do it. This is it. Like it's like you were just giving yourself your best chance.
Yeah,
the best, like that. Yeah. There's a big lesson in that level of work ethic, and to be very real with you, I don't think almost anybody, I'm 35, almost nobody of the millennial generation, in my opinion, with very few exceptions. The only people I can think of who would do something that insane are people like David Rock, D-Rock, Gary Vee's producer. Okay. And I've seen a handful of other people that do insane things like that to absolutely get exactly what they want.
Right.
It's the less than 0.01% of people in terms of work ethic.
But I think it's I don't know if it's innate, you're born with it. I think it's something you can learn. I think
that is true.
You can put yourself.
Work ethic's a culture.
Yeah, surround yourself with the right people.
Standards.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you pointed at it at the top of our conversation about your parents.
Yep.
And the framework and the support.
Yep.
And I will say that, I hope for many people that comes from family.
Yes.
Right.
If it can't, it can come from a mentor, though.
Yes, and family can be something that's defined, right?
You can choose family.
That's right.
Blood don't make you family. It can be earned too.
That's absolutely.
It can be earned.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think if you're not fortunate to be in that structure,
yes,
you can seek it out.
Well,
right?
here's something I don't think
you can surround yourself with it.
Here's something I don't think I've ever said out loud, and it's part of why I did a whole new YouTube channel and why I'm making a pivot, and I think you know this. I've always tried to have a meaningful message in my content, passively, subversively. Now I'm going on the offense with it of, I think there's value in all of my tutorials and all of my how-to things, unless there's some algorithm downside to a 400K YouTube channel because of segmented audiences, because I had a 6-year journey of constant pivots and evolving, and now there's a negative algorithm in a way that undermines some of that. But I don't care in that way. My biggest thing in my pivots right now is I want to do meaningful work, because these conversations are not something that everybody is privy to, right, that we get to have, which is why I'm recording these and why I'm putting this out here, because the future, what's so important and why I've never said or articulated out loud is I make content knowing that there's somebody out there that has no mentor, the school system isn't for them or gave up on them or is undermining them. Right. Because it didn't work out as great for me aside from a handful of teachers and my track coach, Mike Lawrence, hand to God, man saved my life. Somebody doesn't have a mom or a dad, okay? They're consuming more content on the internet than they are spending in the presence of their own parents, right, and sometimes equal to the amount of influence they have from the school system. And it's not even, and again, collectively, like teachers get you for 90 minutes individually at a day, and yet you're gonna consume 3 or 4 hours of content on the internet. Right. If I can harness and monopolize more of people's time and also introduce them to other people and mentors, I feel that that's like a legacy and a public service in the fact that it's like there's gonna be somebody out there who has nobody for them. Right. And I cannot be at all places at once, but with the internet I can, and I can be everlasting.